Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio. My name is Deise Galan, and this is our daily prayer program. It's so nice to be here all together in such an important part of our day. I know we all have busy lives. We go through our daily activities and we are so entangled in the daily chores that most of the times we forget to stop and to pray and to really raise our thoughts. So this is a moment for us that we are all invited, and I'm invited myself, to really calm down our spirits, to be together raising our thoughts, forgetting about the daily struggles, the worries that we have, to connect with ourselves, but most important, to connect with God. Friends, this is such an important time in our planet right now that we are together. It's so important that we raise our thoughts together and we really work within ourselves to strengthen the relationship that we have with God. So, have you asked yourself, what is the relationship that you have with God? This is very important because God, as we study more, as we read more, Spiritism bring God's really next to us, next to our hearts, as we put God center stages in our lives. So today we're invited to work in our faith to God. How strong is that faith? And we are all invited to reflect together. So, as I see many friends coming in here, I'm gonna start with our initial prayer before we read a message together and discuss for a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna put some music. So, as a reminder for all of us, if you can at this time, it's most appropriate that you stop what you're doing, that you put down, your email, stop checking emails, stop browsing through social media, and really focus on this moment. It's very short, but it's really, really powerful. So if you can stop what you're doing, if you have family members or friends with you, invite them to join you on this moments here that we have together. So with that, I'm gonna invite you for our initial prayer. So let's close our eyes, taking a deep breath in, slowly releasing, taking another deep breath in, we release any worries, anything that is troubling our hearts, remembering how faithful we need to be to God, to His designs in our lives. We raise our thoughts together to our Creator. Dear loving Father, thank you so much for another day in this reincarnation. We, Father, are most of the time so worried about fulfilling our tasks or planning for future endeavors that we forget the preciousness of today. As a present, as you has given to each and every one of us. On this beautiful day in our reincarnation, we know that we are one step closer towards our improvement, our progress. Guide our hearts and our minds that in these moments we can rebalance ourselves. We can use these treatment moments to reflect in our lives, but also to raise our thoughts to those who are in much greater need than us. Dear Father, please send your blessings to our brothers and sisters who at this very moment do not have these peaceful moments. Those who are going through illnesses of their physical, mental, or spiritual bodies. Those who have recently discarnated, or those who are contemplating taking their lives or taking the lives of others. We pray especially today, Father, to those who are suffering through this pandemic, either by going through the disease or by having loved ones go through their disease, or through the many indirect consequences of the pandemic in their lives. We pray that at this hour, they are cared for, they are consoled, and they are treated, Father. Let us share the much you have given us with those who need the most at this time. Thanking you and your messengers for sending us the precious message through Chico, Xavier, Kardec, and so many others, which allowed us to get to know more about you, your laws, and the purpose of our lives. With much gratitude in our hearts, we ask your permission to begin these prayerful moments of today. And so be it. So friends, welcome. So today we are reading a beautiful message that is titled Today. It's message 69 from this book, Our Daily Bread, psychographed by Chico Xavier by the Spirit Emmanuel. This message titled Today, Emmanuel starts by quoting Paul in Hebrews chapter 3, verses 13. It says, "But encourage one another daily, as long as it's called today, so that none of you might be hardened by the sin's deceitfulness." And then Emmanuel explains to us. The suggestion regarding daily reciprocal encouragement, indicated by the Apostle Paul, requires a great deal of reflection so that we do not allow a little then to certain doubts to be created. Let us emphasize that Paul places singular importance to the time that is called today, pointing out the necessity of valuing these resources along with our activity throughout the day. Many believe that in order to give good advice to the brothers, it is necessary to communicate constantly, thus transforming themselves into obstinate debaters. It is important to recognize, however, that a warning constituted solely of words leaves a great emptiness after they are spoken. As occurs in the physical organizations, no spiritual edification will be constructed without foundation, but encourage one another represents a more important appeal than simply calling the one involved to verbal debates. Invitations and advice have more effectiveness when they are accompanied by the example of each one of us. All those who live practicing the noble principles to which they have devoted themselves in the world, who carefully fulfill the assumed duties and display goodness with sincerity, are leading the brothers and sisters in humanity on the uplifting path. It is for this kind of daily testimony that the converted of Damascus invited us. Only through constant practice of inner reform will man free himself from the fatal deceit. Do not become hardened in the pathway that the Lord has led you to trick in favor of your redemption, evolvement, and sanctification. Remember the importance of time that is called today. So, friends, what a beautiful message, right? The title of the message already summarized so much for us that Emmanuel brings in this short message, but so meaningful. Today. So, the first highlight for us in this message, for us to think and feel, is about today. So, how are we valuing this moment, this day in our lives, today, right? We go to sleep and we're already thinking, right? Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and I have this meeting. I have to do this with my children, with my husband, with my wife, with my partner, right? I have to fulfill these tasks at work, at home, at school. When we go to sleep and then we wake up and we go throughout our days, and most of the times we're already thinking about tomorrow or the day after or a week from now, a month from now, right? And this message is so beautiful because it reminds us of the importance of value the day that we have right now. As they say, right? The past is in the past, tomorrow is in the future, but today is a present. Yes, it's a gift for each one of us. So it's a reminder for us to wake up in the morning and value the moments of today because, we can keep thinking about tomorrow and what will come in the future. But as we all know, only God knows, right? We don't know if we'll be here in this earth, in the physical plane tomorrow, right? We don't know where God is going to call us and say, okay, graduation time, next phase, right? So instead of focusing so much of our energy, yes, we understand we have to plan, right? We have to think ahead, but today is so important. And if each one of us would practice focus on today, on the moments, sometimes we think are so trivial, but are so key with a loved one, sometimes with a family member, right? With a co-worker. And that moment that we can be there completely in the present, right? That we, instead of being there talking to someone and already thinking, oh, but I need to get home because I need to cook dinner, I need to do this, I need to do that, right? That's how our minds work, right? But how about giving that moment 100%? So we go to complete our task and we give 100% to that task. We are focused on that very moment. So that's the first message that Emmanuel brings to us, the importance of today. But he talks about something in particular about today that we should practice every day in our lives. And as he says here, that is encouragement. How are we encouraging others? Encouraging ourselves, but also encouraging others. Because we go through our days, right? We come across situations where we are talking to others, we're giving advice. And he says that advices that are only through spoken words. So if we don't really practice what we're saying, what we're putting out, right, then it's just empty words. So he asks us, Emmanuel's remind us that the invitations or the advices that we give, they are most effective when they are accompanied by our example. So, as it says, right? Actions means more than words. I'm sure you have listened, you have heard that before, right? Actions, and they say louder than words. And that's exactly what Emmanuel is saying. Our example, our actions actually are a boost of encouragement to others, much more than our words, because we can sit there and we can talk and talk and talk. But if we don't put it in practice, then that would be a mismatch, right? People will look at us but say, but that doesn't really match, right? But science already proves to us if we, as we have an example, as we put our minds and we see what others are doing, that actually pushes us to go and do the same. So that's why we always say, right? Choose a good guide and a good model, right? Choose a good example in your lives for us to really look for towards that and push ourselves. So the same happens with others. If we really want to encourage others, if we really want to help, we start by practicing ourselves because others will see it and they will come along. They will do their part. So he lists what are those good examples that we should give. Those who live practicing noble principles, to which they devote themselves to the world. So, practicing noble principles. Second, carefully fulfilling our assumed duties. Wow, Emmanuel, that is a tough one, right? Because we ask so much of others, right, to complete their duties, right? Sometimes a loved one will live with us to clean the dishes, right, to do their parts in the chores around the home, or a co-worker to send a project in the timeline, right? We ask so much of others, but are we doing ourselves? Are we assuming and fulfilling our duties as we like others to do the same, right? So that is a reflection for us. Before we ask others, we reflect if we are ourselves doing what we are asking of others, because it's so easy for us to ask others, right, to fulfill their duties. But Emmanuel is reminding us, let us make sure that we are doing our part. And then he says, the next one, display goodness with sincerity, leading your brothers and sisters in humanity to the uplifting path. Display goodness with sincerity, friends. So it's to be sincere, right, in our goodness. It's not to put masks so that we portray ourselves in a different way, right? Is really to be sincere and portray the goodness that we are practicing, and we are asking others to practice with ourselves, so that we put it in practice, and we, before we ask, right? As Gandhi says, be the example you want to be in the world, right? That's exactly what Emmanuel is bringing to us. And then he reminds us that the importance of the time that's called today. So, today, friends, is a present in our lives. Let us not take it for granted. And you might say, but Deise, I'm going through such a hard time. I don't want to think about today. I want to think when things are better. Yes, we understand, friend. We pray, right? But today is the opportunity for us to start constructing that better future. If you are listening to this and you're going through a tough time, we understand. But today is an opportunity for us that we are closer, right, to be better physically, mentally, spiritually, right? We can focus on applying today and then building a better tomorrow, right? We plant today and then we will reap tomorrow. So let us focus, friends, on this beautiful reincarnation and this present that we're giving to be here with one another, even if we're going through a pandemic and things around the world seems to be upside down. Remember, we start talking about faith in our relationship to God. So let us strengthen our faith, knowing that everything has a reason. God knows everything. And as we go hold on to that, we practice really not taking this day that was granted to us for granted. Okay? So yes, Danielle, great message. Yes, I agree. So many friends here, Nora Brazil, Paula, John, Danny, and so many others that I might not see. So this is our message of today, friends. And now we invite you to our final prayer. So I'm gonna put some music and we will pray together. So let's close our eyes. Dear loving Father, thank you for reminding us of the preciousness of this moment. Instead of focusing, Father, on the future, on the unknown, let us focus on this beautiful day that we have right now, the opportunity to be together with you and your messengers. And as we take a deep breath in, we transport ourselves to a beautiful garden. Imagine your favorite flower, the color of the flowers radiating in the sunlight. And as we walk through this beautiful garden of flowers, smelling their sweet and embracing smell, we see ourselves surrounded by the color of the flowers. And as we walk through this garden, we see our dear Master Jesus next to us. He is guiding us through this pathway, and he's explaining how precious this reincarnation is, and reminding us not to take this day for granted. Our Master Jesus now invites us to collect some of the flowers of this beautiful garden, arranging a beautiful bouquet of flowers. And in Master Jesus' company, we travel to the hospitals, delivering the flowers to the patients, to the doctors, nurses, staff who have been working long hours throughout this pandemic. We visit the nursing homes, refugee camps, prisons, shelters, delivering the bouquet of flowers to those who are feeling desperate at this time on earth. Jesus then take our hand and we travel with him to out of the planet Earth. We see our beautiful planet from space. Planet Earth surrounded by a beautiful light, the same colors of the bouquet of flowers. And we see that our planet is being treated as well as each and every spirit connected to it. Dear Master Jesus, you know what is in our hearts. You know what we and our planet need at this very moment. We pray that we can be strong, fulfilling our duties, sharing the goodness that you gave us, and encouraging others to do the same throughout our day. Let us, from this moment forward, never forget the importance of each day in our lives as a blank page in the book of our lives. We have the opportunity to write a new day every day. And with your permission, dear Master Jesus, we close this prayerful moments of today. And so be it. Thank you so much, dear friends, for this moments here together. If you have any questions or if you need any additional prayers or support, please leave a comment here, write to kardecradio@gmail.com, and our team is gonna, reply to you. But we wish you a beautiful, beautiful day whenever you are, and we'll see you in our daily prayer tomorrow here at Kardec Radio. Have a beautiful day, friends. Bye-bye.